Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really plunging into something huge, I think. It's these dramatic shifts AI is bringing,
Hmm.
everywhere.
Absolutely. It feels like a fundamental change.
Yeah, we're talking AI agents potentially replacing teams, Google search.
Hmm.
Well, it's changing right now, isn't it? It really paints this picture of a world shifting under our feet. And honestly, it could feel a bit overwhelming.
It definitely can. There's a lot of hype, a lot of uncertainty.
But here's the thing, and this is important for you listening. You don't have to get left behind in all this.
That's the core message, right? Opportunity.
Exactly. So our mission today is to give you a kind of shortcut, a clear guide to understanding, and maybe more importantly, how to actually grab this window of opportunity.
Yeah, how to act on it.
We're going to break down 8 pretty simple, actionable steps, things you can use to leverage AI, even if you're starting completely from zero.
And these aren't just pulled out of thin air.
No, definitely not. We're pulling insights from someone who's been deep in the trenches building, investing in tech since the dot-com boom back in '97.
Right. And the source material really emphasizes that feeling this excitement about AI today hasn't been matched since that '97 internet explosion. That's saying something.
It really is. It signals just how big this feels to people who've seen these cycles before.
And it's grounded in practical strategies, too. The source focuses on, getting rich in the new W era of AI based on that deep experience with over 100 tech companies, real-world stuff.
Not just theory. Okay, so where do we even start? Let's unpack this. Step 1, the first critical thing, choosing the right industry. Sounds simple, maybe,
Sounds obvious.
but apparently it's where a lot of people kind of trip up right at the beginning.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, the insight from the source, is focusing on what's true, not new,
What does that mean exactly? True, not new.
It means, being too early with bleeding-edge tech can actually sink you just as fast as being too late.
The real sweet spot, often, is in the quote-unquote boring industries.
Boring industries, okay.
Yeah, the ones nobody's hyping up at conferences, but which are just fundamentally ready for a massive AI shakeup.
Right.
The plumbing of the economy, sort of. Okay, so for you listening, where are these boring but actually ripe opportunities? Let's get into the 5 specific industries of the source flags. First up, supply chain.
Yeah, think about it. Almost everything is bought via an app now, right? So all the logistics behind that forecasting demand, optimizing delivery routes, managing warehouses, it's incredibly complex.
And data heavy.
Exactly. Perfect for AI. This whole sector is just poised for huge transformation driven by AI efficiency. The potential is immense.
Okay, supply chain. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Moving from physical goods to the work behind the scenes.
Yeah, man. Right. There's already some automation, obviously, but think bigger. AI handling billing, scheduling appointments, filing documents automatically, making sense of all the info scattered across, Dropbox or HubSpot or whatever systems companies use.
Sorting through that digital clutter.
Precisely. Imagine an AI that can actually read, understand, and act on information from all those different places. That frees up human teams from so much, busy work.
Okay, number 3, home services. Now this one's interesting. You mean roofing,
Yeah.
HVAC?
Plumbing. Exactly that. The source puts it like this. Anytime a truck rolls out to someone's home, there are processes AI can streamline. Scheduling, quotes, optimizing the technician's route, maybe even helping diagnose problems.
Wow, okay, so taking AI into these trillion-dollar local industries that maybe haven't seen much tech innovation.
That's the idea. It's bringing cutting-edge efficiency to traditionally, lower tech sectors. The impact could be huge.
Got it. Number 4, legal services. I feel like we hear a bit about this one already. People trying out AI tools.
Yeah, it's often one of the first places people experiment. The source had this great little story about using AI for contract analysis. It generated questions so good, the actual lawyers were like, wait, how did you even know to ask that?
Yeah, that's powerful.
Totally. So people building tools for structuring legal workflows, drafting documents, handling discovery, analyzing case law, they're going to find a lot of success. AI doesn't replace the lawyer, but it augments them massively.
Takes away the drudgery. Okay, and the final one, number 5, team training. This sounds futuristic.
It does, but it's presented as a really exciting frontier. Imagine every company having its own internal company AI.
Like an AI assistant for the whole business.
Kind of, yeah. It joins Zoom calls, it acts as an onboarding buddy for new hires, it gives anyone instant access to all the company's SOPs, standard operating procedures, all the internal knowledge.
Wow, so it's like a collective brain almost.
Exactly. It makes teams incredibly efficient because answers are instant, knowledge isn't lost when people leave, and best practices are always accessible. Huge efficiency gains.
Hey, that's a powerful set of industries. So let's say you've picked your niche. What's the next critical piece? Step 2 is about the money, right? Pick a high-margin model.
Yes. And this is absolutely critical. The source calls margins your moat. It's what protects your business.
Your moat, like defense.
Yeah, exactly. Most people don't really grasp this deeply, but having a high gross margin, the money left after the direct costs of delivering your service or product, is vital for survival and growth. It's very different from, say, a restaurant or a typical retail store, which often have really thin margins.
Right. You need that buffer, that fuel for growth.
Okay.
Okay, so for you listening, if you're thinking about pairing AI with a business model, what are these high-margin options for 2025? First one, AI services. Roughly 70% gross margin.
So this is really about being the architect of integration. Businesses want AI, but they need someone to actually build the workflows, set up the automations using tools like Zapier or maybe more complex ones like NEN or Gumroad integrations. You're selling the setup and the ongoing automation.
The how-to. Got it. Okay, next. A bit higher margin. AI consulting. Around 80%.
Yeah, this is more strategic. It's not just doing the setup, it's helping companies figure out their entire AI strategy. How do they become AI first? How do they use AI to fundamentally change their operations so they don't get left behind? You're the guy, the strategist.
More hands-on high-level advice. Okay, then we jump up again. AI software. About 90% gross margin.
Now you're actually building the software where AI are the core engine solving the problem. Could be text-based, voice-based, maybe it works totally in the background. The source mentions Martell Ventures building an AI-powered business dashboard. As an example, you own the IP, you scale the software.
Very scalable. And finally, the highest margin, AI digital products. Whopping 95% gross margin, approximately.
Yeah, this is the dream for many, right? Build one AI program, one digital course, one set of templates, whatever it is, and sell it thousands of times. The cost per sale is tiny, mostly just hosting. The example was a community of 15,000 people monetizing through digital products to improve their skills. Create once, sell many times.
Okay, those margins are definitely compelling. Now, this next step, step 3, it kind of challenges the usual advice, doesn't it? Sell to a rich customer.
It does. It's based on that Dan Kennedy idea, the marketing guru.
Right, he said, it's easier to make $1 million selling to millionaires than to make $1 million selling to everyone. Something like that.
Exactly. So the question becomes, how do you actually find these higher value customers, these potential millionaires, especially in those boring industries we talked about?
Yeah, where are they hiding?
Well, the source gives 5 specific strategies or hacks to connect with them.
All right, let's hear these hacks. The last one sounds intriguing. Okay, number 1, industry-specific events.
Simple enough. Go to them. Or even better, volunteer or help organize them. There's a great personal story in the source about moving to San Francisco back in '08, knowing nobody, and volunteering at tech events just to get access to the green room, you know, where the speakers and the VIPs hang out. Built a whole network just by being helpful and being in the right place. It's about proximity and providing value first.
Smart. Okay, hack number 2, hyper-personalized email, not just spam.
Right. No, definitely not. This means really doing your homework. Writing a detailed, specific email showing you understand their business, their challenges. The example given was someone receiving a cold email that was so spot on about making money with email.
But they actually partnered up.
Yeah, and the sender now apparently makes 7 figures from that partnership. It shows the power of targeted, thoughtful outreach cuts through the noise.
Definitely. Okay, number 3, offer an interview. Podcast. It's clever. Flattery marketing.
Sort of, yeah. If there's someone you want as a client, don't pitch them directly at first. Ask to interview them for your podcast or maybe even just an article. People like talking about themselves and their work. And then often they'll ask what you do. If there's a fit, they might say, hey, could you talk to my team about that AI thing you mentioned? It builds relationships naturally at scale.
Very smooth. Okay, number 4, host a meetup. Doesn't have to be fancy.
Nope. Keep it simple. A Zoom roundtable, maybe. The point is just to connect people in the same industry, share what you're learning, be helpful. People are often just looking for others facing the same stuff.
Build that community.
Okay.
And number 5, the one you flagged, host a founder's dinner.
Yeah, this is about creating a more curated, maybe slightly exclusive experience, like an AI founders dinner in a specific city. You find relevant people online, Twitter's mention, invite them for a meal.
Just breaking bread together.
Exactly. It's a relaxed social setting, but it's high leverage for building deeper connections with exactly the right people. You foster relationships that can turn into big opportunities.
Those are some really actionable ways to find the right customers. Okay, so you found them. Now, how do you structure your offer so it actually works for your business financially? This brings us to step 4. Create a high cash flow offer.
Right, and this loops back to that earlier point about margins, but it's specifically about cash flow. The source puts it perfectly. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash flow is for your vitality.
Vitality, meaning keeping the business alive and growing.
Precisely. So many businesses, even if they look profitable on paper, struggle because they don't get enough cash up front to fund their operations and growth. This step is about fixing that.
Okay, so how do you listening build an offer that generates that vital cash flow? Key components here. First, anchor pricing.
Always include a really expensive option, like 3 to 5 times more than your next highest tier. It sounds crazy, maybe.
Why do that?
Because it makes everything else look way more reasonable by comparison. It anchors the perception of value. If your top AI consulting package is, say, $50K, your $15K package suddenly looks much more accessible. It makes the yes easier for the mid-tier options.
Psychological pricing. Clever. Okay, second, implement scarcity.
If you genuinely have limited capacity, maybe you can only onboard 5 new clients this quarter. Or the first 50 software users get a special deal, be upfront about it. Requiring a deposit to secure a spot also works wonders.
Creates urgency.
Exactly. It gives people a real reason to make a decision now, not put it off. FOMO, fear of missing out, is a powerful motivator.
Got it. Third component, add a bonus.
But not just any bonus. The best bonus, according to the source, is one that solves the next problem your customer will have after you've delivered your main thing.
Oh, that's smart. Thinking ahead for them.
Yeah, and the rule of thumb is to make the bonus feel even more valuable than the initial offer. Make the whole package a complete no-brainer. So if you build them an AI agent,
The bonus could be free training for their team on how to use it effectively.
perfect example. You're not just selling a tool, you're selling a complete solution and future success.
Yeah.
It massively increases perceived value.
Okay. And the fourth component, volume pricing. This isn't just about discounts, is it?
No, it's strategic. It's about getting more cash up front. So instead of selling a 1-year subscription, offer a better rate for paying for 2 or 3 years now. Instead of 1 software license, offer a bundle deal for 100 licenses paid up front.
So you get that cash infusion right away.
Exactly. That prepaid revenue is pure cash flow gold. It's the money you can use immediately to invest, hire, and grow the business without constantly chasing the next sale or seeking funding. It provides that vitality.
That makes so much sense. Okay, step 5 is a big one, potentially saving people a lot of pain. Sell before you build?
Oh, absolutely. This avoids that nightmare scenario, right? Spending like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, building something amazing, only to launch it and find out.
Yeah.
Crickets. Nobody actually wants to buy it.
The ultimate startup killer.
Totally. So this step flips the script. The core idea here is no business survives first contact with the customer. You have to validate demand first.
So how do you avoid building something nobody wants? How do you pre-sell?
It's the key to funding development with customer money and making sure you're actually building something the market needs. Risk reduction 101.
Okay, so what does this look like practically for you listening? 4 key steps here for pre-selling. Number 1, prototype.
And prototypes today don't have to be complex code. You can start with paper sketches, wireframes, or use tools like Figma, Balsamic, InVision to create really high-fidelity mockups. They look and feel almost real.
So you can demo the idea convincingly.
Exactly. You demo the prototype, you show the vision, and you get people to actually commit, maybe even pay, before you've written a single line of code for the final product.
Okay. Step 2 in pre-selling. Find your early adopters, the founding 50.
Yeah, that's the term used. These are the people, maybe 10, 20, 50 individuals or companies who are willing to take a chance on you and your vision. They get early access, maybe special pricing.
And what do?
They give you invaluable feedback. They essentially co-create the product with you, telling you what works, what doesn't, what features they really need. They help shape the roadmap. And you can reward them bonuses, extra support, even just acknowledging them on your website. They become your
Well,
champions.
so they're partners as much as customers. Okay, third step, ask for advice. This seems counterintuitive again.
It really does, but it works. The
Yeah.
source quotes Pitbull, actually.
Simple, seriously.
Seriously. If you ask for money, you'll get advice. If you ask for advice, you get money twice. The idea is you show your prototype to potential customers, but instead of pitching, you say, hey, can I get your expert advice on this? What am I
Because
missing?
that leads to sales.
Often, yes. They get invested, they feel respected. If they like what they see, they often ask, okay, this is great. How can I get involved? How can I get access? And then you can invite them to be one of your founding 50, securing that upfront commitment and capital.
Brilliant. It shifts the whole dynamic. Okay, fourth step for pre-selling, one conversion tool. What does that mean?
It means don't try to sell everywhere all at once. Pick one primary method for converting those early leads into paying customers and focus on mastering it. Maybe it's doing webinars with partners. Maybe if you have a big social following, it's sell by chat. Maybe it's just old school outbound calls.
Just pick one and get really good at it.
Yes. And then crucially, figure out how to systematize or automate that one channel so you can scale those initial sales without burning yourself out. Focus is key.
Okay, so you've pre-sold it, you've validated it, now you actually have to build it, but without going broke.
Yeah.
Step 6, build your MVP, minimal viable product.
Exactly. And the emphasis is definitely on minimal and viable. You want to avoid that trap. The source mentioned the friend who spent $3 million over 3 years building something that wasn't lean enough, wasn't validated enough early on. The goal is an AI MVP that doesn't break the bank.
Build smart, build lean. So how can you do that, especially with AI? 3 approaches are suggested. First, no code.
Right. Leverage the amazing tools that exist now. Things like Gumroad for selling, maybe go high level for CRM and marketing automation, Make or NAN for building powerful AI workflows without writing traditional code. You can stitch together really functional solutions this way.
Keep selling while you iterate.
Okay.
Okay, second approach, AI code.
If you need something more custom, there are now AI-powered coding platforms. Vibe Coding, Replit, Bolt, Cursor are mentioned. These tools can help you write code faster, suggest solutions. Even a tool like ChatGPT can actually write decent chunks of code or help you debug and deploy.
So AI helping you build AI.
Kind of, yeah. It dramatically lowers the barrier, even if you're not a hardcore programmer. It democratizes building.
Okay. And the third option, hire an AI developer.
If you do need to hire someone, the key advice is do a test project first. Don't just hire based on a resume. Give them a small, defined task to see their skills, how they communicate, if they're a good fit.
Assess them in action.
Exactly. And make sure you give them those validated wireframes and specs from your pre-selling phase so they're not starting from scratch. They can hit the ground running on something you know people want. Minimize that risk.
Okay, building smart. Now you've built the MVP, people are using it. How do you make it scale without you being the bottleneck? Step 7, automate the delivery.
This is where it gets really powerful. Turning your offer into, as the source says, a machine that works while you sleep. There's a story about a friend, Rachel, an agency owner, just drowning in work because her business took off. She had to automate.
A good problem to have, but still a problem.
Totally. And the point is, especially with AI now, the opportunity to automate the repetitive, busy work is massive. It frees you up to focus on the high-value stuff, the things that really move the needle.
Okay, so what are the key areas you should focus on automating in your AI-powered business? 4 are highlighted. First, purchasing.
Seems obvious, but make it super easy for people to pay you. Use solid platforms like Stripe, maybe integrated with Webflow or Gumroad. Eliminate any friction in the buying process.
Smooth checkout. Got it. Second, account login and setups.
Right after they pay, automate the creation of their account, their login, access to whatever they bought. Tools like MemberStack or membership.io are mentioned for handling this seamlessly on the back end.
Instant gratification, instant access.
Exactly. It makes for a great first impression and saves you manual work.
Third area for automation, onboarding, getting client info.
Yeah. Use tools like Typeform or similar form builders to collect the necessary information from new clients in a structured way. And then, this is key, feed that data directly into your automated systems.
So AI can start working with it immediately.
Yes, AI can process that intake information, maybe perform initial setup tasks, organize the data. It cuts down manual entry, reduces errors, and speeds up the whole onboarding process dramatically.
Powerful. Okay, fourth area, support, handling customer questions.
Build a comprehensive knowledge base, FAQs, tutorials, documentation. Then use AI to scan this knowledge base and automatically answer common support emails or chat queries.
An AI support agent.
Essentially, yes. It becomes an intelligent agent that can handle a large volume of Tier 1 support, learning and improving over time as it gets more data. This frees up your human support team for the really complex or sensitive issues.
Wow, automating those four areas sounds like it would make a huge difference.
Mm.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. We've picked an industry, a model, found customers, created the offer, built lean, automated. What's the final step? Step 8. Get greedy.
Mhm.
Wisely. Sounds a bit intense.
It does sound provocative, yeah.
Mm.
But it's not about being ruthless or unethical. It's about being clear on your vision for wealth creation. It's about the difference between being short-term greedy and long-term greedy.
Okay, unpack that. Short-term versus long-term greedy.
It boils down to this. What's the real value you're ultimately building? The source really emphasizes that true value isn't just the immediate cash, it's the experience, the assets, the learning you gain along the way. So there are 3 S's to think about for building AI wealth today. First, S-sell.
This is the short-term greedy part?
Pretty much. Build a small app, a specific service, get some traction, and then flip it quickly for cash. Get that immediate payout.
What's the downside?
The main downside is you might miss out on the deeper learning and the potentially much larger long-term value. You get the cash, but maybe not the compounding experience or the bigger prize. It's a quick win.
Okay. Second S, scale.
This is more long-term greedy. Instead of selling that thing that's working and making money, you keep it. You keep printing money, as the source says, and you keep growing it.
Double down on what's working.
Exactly. There's that great example of the founder of Wistia, the video hosting company. He had a big offer to sell, but decided against it. He raised debt to buy out his early investors instead because he loved the business and figured he'd just start the same thing again if he sold. So he kept scaling.
Playing the long game with that specific venture.
Okay.
And the third S stack.
This is maybe the most ambitious long-term play. It's about building a portfolio of companies or solutions. The source uses Martell Ventures itself as an example, working with various AI experts to build multiple solutions tackling different problems for small businesses worldwide.
So you're not just scaling one thing, you're building an ecosystem.
Precisely. You're stacking wins, diversifying, leveraging expertise across different ventures. It's about creating a larger, more resilient, and potentially much more valuable portfolio over the long haul, building an empire, essentially.
Sell, scale, or stack. 3 very different endgames. Wow. We have really covered a ton today. We've journeyed through these 8 powerful steps from finding those ripe industries and high-margin models all the way through nailing customer acquisition, building smart, automating like crazy, and then thinking about that long-term wealth strategy in this whole new AI era.
It really is a comprehensive framework, isn't it? Hopefully it gives you listening a solid grounding for not just, surviving, but actually thriving as AI continues to reshape things. It's about being thoughtful, strategic, and having that clear vision.
Absolutely. So as you mull over all these insights, all these steps, and just the sheer scale of the change AI is bringing, here's something to think about. What specific piece of this AI revolution will you decide to explore first? Maybe it's one of those boring industries. Maybe it's a specific automation. And thinking about that path, what unexpected challenge or maybe what unexpected breakthrough do you think you might discover along the way?